other using solar and wind energy or installing field buffers and bioreactors. To learn more, go to iowapork.org.
Divine Intervention is online at yourfortdodge.com, on Twitter at jmike1400.
You know, since I turned 70 on Sunday, I've just had a hell of a time. This is Trooper Paul Gardner, not Trooper Larson. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, it's good to see you here.
Thank you, Mike.
Absolutely. And your title or your role within the Iowa State Patrol is?
Public Resource Officer.
Public Resource
Yes, sir.
Officer. Is that kind of like a communications guy? Or?
It is. It has a combination of safety education mingled with public information, and there's all sorts of different roles that we play in this job.
Well, that's good. That's good. I've got to get Trooper Larson on the video. By the way, you can follow us here on StreamYard. Okay, you can.
There we go. Now we're talking split screen.
There we go.
There you go.
See, there you go. Anyway, yeah. StreamYard, just go to my Facebook page, Michael Devine, or the radio station Facebook page, AM 1400 KVFT, or the Alpha Media Fort Dodge Facebook page, and you can get StreamYard, in other words, audio and video. I want to talk to you a little bit about your job. It sounds like it's an all-encompassing job for this. How big a territory do you have?
Oh, we have 7 counties in our post. I'm responsible for those counties. Every post has got a public resource officer assigned, so that's what we do. Depending on the needs of that certain area, then we'll try to fulfill those. But a lot of my job is doing a lot with the schools. Like I told you earlier, I was doing a talk at Community Christian here in town, and we do a lot with that. With driver's ed's a big one. We have a big chunk of time that we take out for going in and doing defensive driving and drunk driving education for teenagers. And we do a lot of school bus inspections. Help inspect school buses. Every district has to be inspected twice per year. So all the ones in my area, I'm responsible for assisting the Department of Ed get those taken care of.
Okay. We still have school teachers teaching driver training, right?
Correct, right. There's so many hours that are required for like defensive driving, so that's where they invite a trooper to come in and speak. So I bring in photos from crashes and gory photos and such, and basically to show them what dangerous distracted driving can do to you.
They did that back when I was in high school. The pictures were kind of gory.
Like Blood on the Highway, those films. I don't have quite those, like the old
schools. The old schools were pretty bad.
Yes, they were.
But it shocked us. And really, I have to give credit to my dad, who was a truck driver early in his life. He didn't stay a truck driver very long, but he learned defensive driving by managing the space of the semi he was driving.
Oh, sure.
And he got acquainted with the habits of the highway, so to speak, and that most of the people are decent, but some of them are not.
Some are.
And you have to be aware for those and where you're at on the road and that sort of thing.
Oh, yes.
So he passed it on to me, and I'm glad.
Yeah, good deal.
And I remember he got an old 57 Chevy with a stick shift, and he said, "You're going to learn on this." Can I learn on an automatic? No. Because if you can drive a stick, you can drive any.
Those are almost obsolete.
They really are. They really are. Too bad. I don't think they make cars that way anymore.
No, they don't. I've got a little Pontiac Solstice that has a manual in it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, that's about the only. They're kind of hard to come by anymore.
Solstice, how old is that?
So in 2008,
okay.
A little convertible.
Well, I'm surprised they even had them in 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trooper Paul Gardner is our guest, and I do want to talk with you about texting on the road. I don't text on the road myself, but cell phones are enormously distracting. I have, of course, people can call me in the car and it comes to the radio speakers. I forget what that's called.
The Bluetooth?
Yeah, the Bluetooth type thing. And a lot of times people do that. They'll call me, and before I know it, I'm engrossed in this conversation, or there's a joke or something. And I'm over the center line. Now, that usually happens on Highway 20, so rather than 169, which is a two-lane. But it is dangerous.
Yeah.
I've been around enough to know, boy, the world changed right now.
I remember when cell phones started to come out, and I had one when I was in college, and it was just a flip phone. You pulled out the antenna. I think it was maybe 30 minutes for $20 a month or something like that. It was, and you couldn't text on those. In the next generation of cell phones that came out, and they were the ones that if you wanted a certain letter, you had to type that button so many times.
I do remember those.
So, and I remember when that was came out, and so you had the big jump, big spike in texting crashes because we really didn't know how to handle them, and obviously we still don't know how to handle the phones while we're driving. I show a video in my driver's ed class. It's called 8 Seconds, and it's about a trucker who spent 8 seconds texting back and forth with his girlfriend on the phone and rear-ended a stationary car at a red light.
Is this a true story?
It is a true story. Yeah, he was running 63 miles an hour and took out a car, rear-ended this car, killed the driver of the other car on impact. And it just goes to has some victim impact testimonies in there, and even they interview him as well, just talking about how that 8 seconds, and they're interviewing him in prison because he got convicted of vehicular manslaughter.
There was no winners there.
No, there wasn't. So both sides of it is just tragic.
That is tragic. And for 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And here I am at my age, and I still find myself having to answer every call.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yeah, so right, and then I was telling you earlier that crash in Bremer County just yesterday, and I received a photo on that, and this van just rear-ends the back of a semi-hauling hogs, and there's no skid marks. That means it was just impact speed of highway speeds, and the driver was mid-sentence in the text when they found the phone, because the sentence hadn't been sent yet, or it was kind of halfway through, but he was in the middle of the text when he crashed into that semi. Killed driver on impact.
Bremer, is that over by Waterloo?
It is.
Okay, that's
east of us there.
East of us, yeah. I guess Benton County is right south of Waterloo.
That's on the Cedar Rapids area for Benton County.
Benton is?
Benton, yeah.
Okay.
But those crashes happen all over the state.
They do. They happen around here. I'm told that.
Yeah, we've had some serious fatal crashes involving distracted driving. So one of the things we're trying to combat, I know we have a law right now that is it's an attempt anyway to curb some of these texting violations. You can still talk on the phone, unless you're a teenager or a truck driver. But if you have a Class C license, just operating a normal passenger car, passenger van, or whatnot, you can have it up to your ear talking on the phone, but you can't text. There are some things that are allowed by current law, but there are some things that are prohibited.
Representative Ann Meyer, I believe, is involved in trying to ban certain types of texting and communication.
Yeah.
I don't know what her bill looks like. We'll talk with her later in the week. But I think it's something along the lines.
Yeah, I do believe it's. I haven't seen a lot of language involved in it, but I do know that it is a hands-free bill that would pretty much make the only thing allowed by a cell phone to be if you talk over the speaker system, like your Bluetooth or whatnot.
Yeah.
But if you're caught with a cell phone up to your ear while you're driving, you get ticketed for
that. Well, and I'm not sitting here looking down my nose at anybody. I'm as bad as anybody else when it comes to this, and I have to break that habit.
Yeah.
I feel, the story you told about the truck driver who 8 seconds with his girlfriend and he killed somebody in jail. Jail would be the least of my punishment. If something like that happened to me, I don't know how I'd live with myself. If I was screwing around on the phone and killed somebody.
Yeah, and he admits that he'll never be able to live that down the rest of his life. So it's a good video, and I think it's an eye-opener, especially for your younger generation that's starting.
Is it available online?
I do believe so. I know it was put out through the Minnesota State Patrol.
Okay.
I know I've got it on my presentation that I do for driver's ed, but I do believe it's online.
All right. And what's the name of it again?
8 seconds.
8 seconds. And where can that be found?
8seconds.com or I'm not sure if it's its own website. But you probably go on YouTube, Minnesota State Patrol 8 seconds, and that's probably, I would imagine, be available.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Those things happen every single day here in our country.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, thousands of crashes, and a lot of them are from distracted driving. I ran some stats earlier today, and just from 2021, in Iowa statewide, this is when I looked at inattentive, distracted driving, there were 9,000 crashes with 29 fatalities, 217 serious injuries, and probably closer to, a little over 3,000 minor and possible injuries. So people who were treated on the scene or whatnot. So that's a lot for 1 year, especially when you look at 29 fatalities for distracted driving.
Trooper Paul Gardner is our guest, and he is with the Iowa Highway Patrol Force. Let's talk about drunk driving a little bit. Look at this here. Yeah, as soon as I get on air, everybody in the world wants to text me. I was telling Paul that a little earlier. But anyway, and I'm ashamed to say that when I was young, I drove drunk more than once, and I'm so glad I didn't hurt anybody. Doesn't excuse my behavior. But it's drunk driving. Mothers against drunk driving, and there was a big push to do something about drunk driving. Is that as big a scourge as it once was, or is it continuing? Or?
I think it's continuing. There's a lot of educational pieces out there, like Mad Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Yeah.
They are big in legislation. They are a huge force out there combating drunk driving. So there are some educational pieces we use, and that's another thing I bring up in our driver's ed is the dangers of drunk driving. Because as a trooper, the crashes we cover are generally more serious in nature. So we go to a lot of fatality crashes. I've covered several crashes involving drunk driving. So you see the aftermath. You see the pieces that families have to pick up because somebody decided to go out drunk and they take out a family in a car. And that just not too long ago, it just in Hardin County, our troopers responded to a wrong-way driver that ended up taking another car head-on Highway 20, killed 3 people.
There was a notorious situation down in Des Moines where a couple of Des Moines cops went over to Omaha, I believe, to bring back a female prisoner.
Yes.
And they were on the Interstate 80, and some guy was blind running down.
Yeah. 100 miles an hour, wrong-way driver.
Wrong-way driver.
I went to the funeral for Officer Farrell. I was at her funeral for that one. So, but that was a triple fatality because the drunk driver was also killed in that.
Well, I think it was 2 officers and the prisoner.
Right.
And the,
I'm sorry, that would be before that. Yes. They were all on the prisoner back. Yes.
What? God, I can't talk. I got in the car and
so we're seeing a lot of this big spike of reckless driving, and a lot of it involves alcohol and drug driving as well. So whenever we talk about intoxicated driving, we also have to bring up the fact that drug driving is also. I mean, marijuana started illegal in many states, and I don't know the stats, but I heard in Colorado when they legalized pot that their accident rate just skyrocketed as well, and a lot of it was driving under the influence of marijuana.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because a lot of people get out of the car and say, I had a drink, but they're obviously
they're impaired.
Yeah, they're impaired. Is there a test or something? I mean, with drunk driving, you can smell the breath or have to blow into a tube or whatever. But what do you do if somebody's high?
Yeah, if we run through field sobriety, and so there's different clues we will look for drug driving, and if we bring them down to the LAC, we're likely to take a UA, request a urine analysis, because of that's something that they can detect drugs, blood and urine, I suppose, that they can detect drug usage. So any amount of narcotics in their system technically can be considered an OWI.
Yeah, I would think so.
So yeah, sometimes you'll stop a car and it just reeks of pot, because once it rolls down the window, you can smell it coming out.
Has its own
It does. Once you smell it, you'll never forget.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you get in your clothes everywhere, you can't.
Oh yeah.
You can't run from that. I guess it's then what level of intoxication are they experiencing? I don't. Again, there's a blood test, a test that can tell us how much alcohol a person has had.
Right.
If they're above the legal limit.
Right.
I don't know. Is there a way to do that with guys who are smoking weed, or just there's meth out there?
Yeah, there's meth. If we bring them into the LSU doing field sobriety and all that, we can also bring in one of our drug recognition experts. We call them DREs, and they're professionals when it comes to recognizing the impacts of drunk driving as well. So if it gets to the point where they need to pull like a urine specimen or blood, like if someone goes to the hospital because they're involved in a crash and we suspect a drug, then we'll either get the bike center pulled or form for blood, and then we'll send it in to see what drug they're impaired with. And another stat from 2020 was that on all the OWIs nationwide in 2020 that were involved in serious car crashes, 2/3 of them had not only alcohol involved, but other controlled substances on board too. So more than one or two narcotics on board in some of these people's systems. So you have either alcohol, marijuana, or marijuana meth, or there was all kinds of combinations.
I got way too old for those days. Paul Gardner's our guest here at AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. As long as we're talking about impaired diabetes. And I talk to other people who have diabetes, and sometimes one young man I knew who lived in Waterloo, as a matter of fact, would have a diabetic test, and the police would roll up on him, throw cuffs on him, and put him in jail.
They think he was drunk.
They thought he was drunk, you know. And another person was picked up by the patrol. I mean, they pulled off the side of the road because they felt themselves losing control. And the trooper walked around and he slurred his words, and out the car he went. He convinced the trooper on the woman to trip in, I guess, that what he really needed was sugar.
Yeah. And we've come across those drivers because they indicate the same, sometimes they indicate the same clues and act in the same manner. So sometimes we're all thinking, oh, this guy's,
He's toast.
yeah. But obviously, you're not going to smell the booze coming out of the car.
Well, diabetes have when they're in amputation of fruit breath.
Yeah. So if there's sometimes that's easy to do, and if they obviously there might be indicators that they are diabetic versus intoxicated.
Yeah.
But so we've rolled across there, but I know that you get to the point where we work so many drunk drivers, and we make a lot of drunk driving arrests. So, but we've had those instances before where they're obviously adamant that I'm not intoxicated, and then diabetic. Okay, then you prove it, because if you run through it feels right like a breath test, I'm not going to blow anything for.
I have a brace.
Yeah, and that's another indicator too. Yep, and so obviously if they're just diabetic, they go into a PBP, they're just going to be all zeros. There won't be any blood alcohol content.
There's a couple different reasons why I should be diabetes is one of them. Anyway, we should make this a regular feature of this.
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'd love to.
There's a lot to talk about, and certainly we want our young people to come up and be responsible drivers.
Yes, we do.
I understand that young people are young people, as you and I were once. And
Yeah.
be a little reckless.
We all make our fair share of dumb decisions sometimes. But
Well, that's why we have adults. You know?
That's
That's why we have adults
Yes.
to guide folks, hopefully, in the
Yeah.
right way. And this would be a great opportunity, I think, maybe to take part in that process, the guiding process. if
Sure.
you will. All right.
Yeah, very good.
All right. Paul Gardner's our guest. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. This is AM 1400 KVFD.
Divine Intervention is
One
online
moment,
at yourfortdodge.com, on Twitter at jmike1400.
It's 2:27. This program brought to you by Blue Ribbon Tunnel Waters, 612 South 52nd Street here in Fort Dodge. You may contact Blue Ribbon Tunnel Waters by calling 576-6481 or online at www.ftwater.com. This is AM 1400.
1 3/4 at $15.90 and a quarter. August 23 cents at $15.56.
Yeah, I see.
Pull up $7.80 a ton at $461.90.
Do you want me to look at the camera all the time or no?
$7.85. February live cattle up.
Do you want me to look at the camera?
No, you don't have to.
April up 165 to 147.82. March feeder cattle up $1.40 to close at 168.27. April up 80 cents to 172.57. February lean hogs down a dime at 90.22. April up 97 cents at 104.77. I am Dwayne Murley.
At yourfortdodge.com, on Twitter at jmike1400.
Okay, all right. Yeah, now everybody listening to me regularly know I screwed that up. Let me try again.
Divine Intervention is online at yourfortdodge.com, on Twitter at jmike1400.
Oh, that's where we're at. As a matter of fact, we're on StreamYard now. So if you'd like to go to my Facebook page, that's Michael Devine, DEVINE, or the radio station Facebook page, AM 1400 KVFP, or the Alpha Media website, which is at Fort Dodge Alpha Media or Alpha Media Fort Dodge, I forget. You'll see I'm sitting here with the president or producer. That is you, Rasmussen, isn't it?
That is me.
All right, and you're going to be the president now.
I am currently the president of the Iowa Pork Producers Association.
You are the big cheese.
I am the big cheese. Started January.
Should we even use cheese as a reference to bacon? How long you been a pork producer?
I have been raising pigs for 30 plus years.
30 plus years. Okay, so you've seen a lot of the changes in the pork industry over the years.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the hot button issue in some parts of the country, and that's hog confinements, of course. I imagine you have confinement buildings.
Yep, I started my production career fair on the field. So we had those little teeny, those little small
Oh, you still
huts.
have them still?
Nope, don't have them anymore. But we had those little huts, and had green pasture, and these pigs were all outside running around and really happy. And like I've said before, is that's all great when the sun's shining, but when the weather turns bad or when it rains 6 inches, all that manure that you think is soaking into the ground, it all runs off down the hill and in the road ditch and everything. So actually, confinement buildings do a lot to protect the environment.
Well, I talked to other pork producers, and I remember when there were free-range hogs. I mean, I go back a few years. Farmers kept them in barns, and then they had hog lots, which was fine. But at night or in the morning, I certainly remember going out to the barn with a farmer I knew, and the sow had rolled over on a couple of her pigs. Well, to the farmer, of course, and the pork producer, that was money lost. So I have been told that hog confinements were put in, at least in part, to solve that problem. A sow sleeping on her own piglets and killing them.
That's true. We have done a lot of things to improve our efficiencies, and the output is definitely a factor in improving your efficiencies. There's, we still have deaf loss in our farrowing facilities, but the more we can control their environment, the better success that we have of keeping as many pigs as we can alive.
Hogs and pigs are intelligent animals. Do you think they suffer being in hog confinement, stand up crates where they can turn around, or not?
No, if you give so we have what we call freestall pens, so they get their feed and their water in a stall. And then we can actually close the gate behind them and to be able to preg check them or do any treatments that would need to be so that we can corral them so we can treat them. But they can also back out and mingle around in the pen and talk to one another. Well, research has shown they spend about 80% of their time in the stall because nobody bothers them. It's a nice little safe place. Pigs there's a hierarchy in the pigs. And there's the boss pig, and then there's the pig that gets picked on all the time. And so you can reduce that pen size or make that pen size whatever you want to, but it still holds true. There will be a boss pig in every pen.
Years ago, there was an expression, I heard it quite often in pool halls when I was in my youth. We'd ask where such and such was, and we'd say, "You went to the bathroom and the hogs ate him." Or you went out and the hogs ate him. People laugh about that. But the hogs will try to knock you over back in those days. And if they get you on the ground, that's a bad situation, isn't it?
Yeah, my grandfather used to tell a story about the neighbor guy that for some reason fell down in the hog pens, and the hogs did eat him. So
They actually did. Oh, that happens every now and then.
So he was trying to scare me as a young man or a little kid. You be careful in there because we don't want to, we don't want pigs to eat you. But they will, yeah.
But nobody's been eaten recently since the hogs have been in confinement. I would think that would be a greater good, I do not understand these people from California, or originally from Iowa, who moved to California, and then want to come halfway across the country to where we live and work, and screw things up for us. Do we go out to California and screw things up for them? I don't understand this. From an ethical or moral standpoint, I think that's flat wrong. I mean, Iowa Select Board is always a target of some of these people who appear out of nowhere. We talked a little bit about it before we went on mic. During the COVID thing, Iowa Select had to euthanize some hogs. Well, there was a film came out about that. Oh, look at these terrible Nazis that work for Iowa Select. I mean, they're using language like that. It was horrible, horribly unfair and untrue. I know how to respond to that sort of thing, but I can't do it here on the radio because I use profanity. But what is your idea? How do you respond?
The best way that I think we can respond is to tell our story and explain what actually happens and what we really do every day when we take care of pigs. And these are the facts. And these are, we need to create relationships with the customer and the producer and let them know that we really care about the livestock and the animals that we raise. I was on a float trip in Florida, in this little bay in Florida, and the wife and I were kayaking around, and we had a guide that was showing us the Everglades in Florida, and he was trying to stimulate conversation. And I said, you've asked me a lot of questions. I said, how about I ask you a question? I said, what would you like to know about pork production from an Iowa pork producer?
Yeah.
And he was really set back a little bit. He didn't really know what kind of question. He thought about it a little bit. He has been in the business of asking questions and stimulating conversation, but he never had him asking questions. And this guy was fit. I would assume that he probably didn't eat a ton of meat. I don't know. I'm just making an assumption there. And he goes, "Tell me about your day." And I said, well, we get up every morning, and I said, we go out and we go to the barn, we check the temperature, we check the water meters, we check to make sure their environment is really good. And then we look at every pig every day. We look at their eyes, their feet, their head, their ears, and we look at the condition of every pig every day. He goes, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
That's all he wanted to know.
That's all he wanted to know. He wanted to know that it wasn't a big factory farm, that stuff's mass produced and goes in this. His vision was mass, big mass production where they don't get personally taken care of. I don't care how big the facility is. Live animals, you have to look at every animal every day.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. I'm sure that. How many hogs do you raise right now?
So we currently market about 8,000, between 8,000 and 9,000 pigs a year.
Okay. You own the hogs or you contract?
So right now I'm a contract producer. In 2020, with lack of a great succession plan, we sold our sows. So I've had sows for 30 plus years, and we were a owner operator. We owned our pigs. We contract fed them out. People grew pigs for us. But in 2020, given the COVID situation, a couple of things, just what was coming down the pike, we sold our sows early in 2020. And so in mid-2020, we started contract feeding. So we've been doing that for a couple of years. But my heart, my passion is still in ownership. I love baby pigs and taking care of little pigs.
Sure.
But, I like pigs. I like animals.
Yeah. I think that escapes some of the anti-meat, anti-pork activists out there. That the farmers that they're protesting and describing as cruel or whatever actually like their lives. They like their animals. They protect their animals. At the very least, if an animal dies, the farmer will lose money. And who wants that? Nobody does.
nobody does. Another question I've had, your younger generation in a metropolitan area, I've had asked me, is that, do you name your pigs? And I said, no. I said, we don't name anything that we're going to eat. So that's another question we get asked once in a while is, do you name them? No, we don't name them, but we care for them, and we care for them with a passion.
I think it's so important for people like yourself, farmers, whether they be corn growers, soybean growers, certainly in animal production, beef, cattle, chickens, whatever it is. I think it is important that you tell your story over and over again and appear on programs like this and many, many others, so people see you're human beings and you're just trying to do the best you can like everybody else. Because there are those out there who really are trying to demonize production, like the people who are constantly harassing the folks over at Iowa Select. As far as I know, the people at Iowa Select are very generous people and responsible neighbors. And people like them. I've never met the folks, the husband and wife that run it, but I've never heard a bad thing about them personally.
Yep, I can remember working on a farm, and Jeff Hansen, he is the CEO of Iowa Select, or retired. I don't know exactly where he is in production, but he brought a load of feed to the farm. I remember unloading bag feed, helping Jeff Hansen unload bag feed at the farm. So
was it your farm, or
it was my future father-in-law, and my father-in-law's farm. Yep, and so Jeff started at the bottom. He started truck driving, hauling feed, selling farming crates, and just he started at the bottom and worked his way up. And he's a very aggressive and smart man.
Well, you might know Mike Pierce. I can see Mike right over my head, him and his brother Mitch. But he started right at the bottom. I think he grew up in Fort Dodge, and now he's got all kinds of hogs.
Yep.
And he's a go-getter, believe me. He doesn't take any crap.
He really does. So, Mike, we've got California that's trying to dictate how we raise livestock and raise agricultural products here in Iowa. What do you think about only buying, since almonds are the number one agricultural commodity grown in California?
Yeah.
What do you think about only allowing hand-picked almonds to be shipped to the state of Iowa?
Thank you very much. Now, there's an idea. And we want an increase in wages for the poor illegal immigrant almond pickers too, by the way, doggone it.
Yeah, yep. They have to, and they got to be a diversified
with a full benefit package for everybody included. Otherwise, you're racist. We're on to something. We can call those California people racist. Oh God, we've achieved nirvana.
and they have to be employed for the 12 months a year.
That's right. Whether they're working or not.
Yep.
Eureka! We've made it, ladies and gentlemen.
Mike, I've known you for about 15 minutes, but I think I hit your button.
Oh God, yes, that's one of my friends. Well, they toss those terrible words around. I mean, there really have been people in the animal rights. They're vegans talking about animal rights. I don't even want to get into that animal rights stuff. I'm a supporter of better treatment of animals. I don't like to see dogs out in the street freezing to death like I do now.
All animals need to be treated humanely.
So period. I would agree with that absolutely. And I realize there's a couple of bad actors. I have not seen that in the case of Iowa Select or many other major pork producers. And certainly I've never met a pork producer in our area who would fit the description of animal abuse.
I believe that any pork producer in the pork or pig farmer world would not tolerate any sort of animal abuse. I mean, if the pig doesn't want to move or doesn't want to go, quite honestly, he weighs 300 pounds. He's got 4 feet on the ground. There's nothing you're going to do. So it's kind of like playing a little bit of mind game. So when we were loading sows in a crate and she just didn't want to go, you just let her be.
Yeah.
You just walk away and you come back 15 minutes later. She's been in there 3 or 4 or 5 times before. She knows where she's going. But she just likes to stop at this corner every time and eat a little bit of feed that's laying on the floor or something like that.
Right.
And you come back 5-10 minutes later, she walks right in and she knows where she's going.
Yeah.
And you just can't. You have to be very, very patient when you work with animals.
When I was a young man, I didn't get that. I kind of worked with some impatient guys on the farm back then. Their idea was they'll move, pick them, and that's that sounds bad now, but
That's not tolerable.
That's not the way we do things now. I wish the guys that haul hogs, the guys that have livestock drinks, the only thing they can use now to get them off is one of those plastic paddles, I think, which a hog will lap at 300 pounds. She's 300 pounds or whatever.
You give a pig an opportunity to see where they want to get, where they're supposed to go.
Right.
No changes in the terrain or light, no shadows. He'll go there. If he sees, because it's an escape route for him. He's like, he doesn't like this. It's not a comfortable place. So we've gotten loads of ISO wean pigs, and an ISO pig is a 10-pound, roughly about a 10 or 12-pound pig. And they've come from Canada. They've come from long distances. And it's interesting. The pigs that are those pigs that come a long distance, they'll come off the truck pretty well because they're thirsty and they're hungry and they're looking for feed and water. So they'll come off that truck pretty well. The pigs that are transported a short distance, they haven't had time to rest and relax, and so they're still tired, so they don't come off real well. And the
Much better ones I was hauling.
And the pigs that come off or have been on the trailer about 5 hours, they think, hey, this is not too bad a life here. It's nice and clean, nice pine wood shavings in here. I'm not hungry yet. I'm all rested. No, they don't want to come off the trailer either.
No, they don't. The only good thing about those hogs that get comfortable is that you go back there, the trailer wasn't nice and warm in there, and even in winter time, those hogs go off a lot of heat. They do. Why did you become president of the State of Iowa Pork Producers Organization?
So, Mike, I believe that every pork producer should be telling their story, and one of my sayings is we need to be at the table. Because if we're not at the table in the conversation, we're going to be on the table. We're going to be on the menu.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I wanted to use my leadership skills for the organization and for the rest of the pork producers in the state of Iowa.
Yeah, that was like Kirsten that I was thinking of. You don't like Kirsten over here?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Mike came up, just started with nothing, and now he's got a lot.
With a lot comes a lot of challenges and management. And, there's not Mike works really, really hard at what he does.
Yeah, I don't really know the guy very well. I've met him a few times, liked him. But he's guys like him, and I recognize this. I've seen other people like they just like to get out there and get involved. And what else can we do? Let's make some money. Let's do this. Let's do that. Always going. They got that little motor inside them. And some people just don't. They have to be told to get up and go to work or something. Well, they do.
Yeah. That's
not anybody down here.
That's not me. I'm wired. I get up and go to work, and I'm trying to get old enough now. I'm trying to slow down a little bit and not feel like I have to go all the time.
Oh, come on, young fellow like you. Come on. What would be your goal? What would be your goal as pork producer, the president of pork producers, Iowa pork producers?
So I think we need to be better prepared for foreign animal diseases. That would be devastating in the state of Iowa and in the nation if a foreign animal disease would come into, say, like in the Houston area. Houston's a big port, or in Florida, really never get into pig production at all. So a third or about a half of our pork is exported. So if we would have foreign animal disease, we can make the assumption that exports will probably stop. So then that's a glut product here in the United States. And so what do we do here? It's going to be cheap food for a little while.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of local economies that are going to be suffering really, really bad because as goes profitability on the hog farm, goes the economic condition of your local communities. And so that would be the worst scenario. So we need to be
a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Well, that's right. Here we are, and my guest is Kevin Rasmussen from the Goldfield area. He farms up there. He's a pork producer, and he is president this year of the Iowa Pork Producers, and that's a great thing. And we talked a little bit about how necessary it is to for pork producers to get the message out, because pork production has a lot of enemies. And we're going to talk about that more, but I told you while we were off mic that one of the cattlemen came in here several years ago, and what he said it really changed my life in a way. I was just amazed to hear this. He said, here in Iowa, even here in Iowa, we don't have farmers and kids grow up in town, and the rest of the population are separated from each other. They don't understand each other anymore. And I thought about that for a few days, and I think about it every now and then. When I was a kid, of course, I got jobs walking beans. Oh, this was a thrill. Or somebody coming to get us to bale hay for a couple of days. We were kids and laying around the pool hole anyway. We might as well go out and get a day's pay for it. And I had relatives. I remember going out to the farm and staying with my farm cousins for a while. Anyway, I knew, and practically everybody knew, in my little town up there in Algona, that what was going on the farm. As a matter of fact, I'm sure a third of the kids I was in elementary school with at Bryan School were farm kids. And we'd go out to our house, or they'd come into town and spend the night with us. Typical stuff. But the point is, again, we knew about the farm. And we knew it was work. And I remember Coach Dan Gable, the great wrestler, he said that one of the reasons Iowa's been so good in wrestling over the years, when he was young, he's a little older than I am, but when he was young, all the farm kids wanted to go out for wrestling because they were strong, didn't mind mixing it up out there, and a lot of farm kids, including, I think Don Miller was a farm kid. He was a former coach here in town, and many other. They'd come in off the farm, and boy, would they whip up on the other kids.
Yep. I told you off air there, Mike, in the 70s, we didn't have weight rooms at high school.
No, we don't. Or didn't.
We didn't because farm kids, we went to the weight room every day. Got out of bed and we went to work every day, And we were saying that the meeting after the meeting, we call it. So after the board meeting, the board producers were just visiting. He goes, heck, that was when we took our shower, go home after school, go home and do chores, and then we come back to football practice and football practice, and then we get a shower afterwards. So it worked out well, and then we're ready for soccer after that. But
that was a different way of life. I mean, stop and think about the technology has changed so much. I mean, I mentioned that Dad and his brother and my grandfather in the Livermore area, they farmed horses, and mainly they were subsistence farmers. I mean, they had pigs and cattle for sale or for market or whatever you want to call it, but mainly they had a lot of food,
a lot of reciprocity back then. A lot of trading, a lot of, you help your neighbor out, your neighbor helps you out.
A lot of bartering, that's right.
Yeah, a lot of bartering that went on. And today we have all this media service and we have all this technology. News travels so much faster today. And that's part of the motivation for these groups that are trying to stifle, our segment of agriculture. My son showed me a TikTok, and I'm not on TikTok, I'm not on TikTok, but he showed me a TikTok clip of a lady said to this young man, tell me something that you're really shocked that you realized all the time you were growing up. My wife said her parents used to tell them that chocolate milk came from chocolate cows. And so she was just really shocked when she found out it wasn't true. But there's this little TikTok out there of this lady asking this young man this something, and he goes, well, I can't think of anything. Well, she goes, you know what mine was? When my dad would count my toes, this little piggy stayed home and this little piggy went to market. I thought he went to market and got bread and butter. She didn't realize that he went to market to get slaughtered. And she was just devastated. And the look on the poor young man's, he didn't realize the little piggy didn't go to market to get cheese and butter.
No, he didn't. No, he went to make bacon. Him.
So it was pretty comical, but that's where we are in our world today. That the common terminology that we use when we talk to folks, we need to explain and get down in the weeds and get to the details, and so people understand. It takes grow very rapidly. It takes about 5.5 to 6 months from birth to market weight. Pigs get sold at 300 pounds. About 70% of that 300 pounds ends up in meat. And it's good, delicious, wholesome meat.
Yes, it's protein. Bill Horn used to tell me that the Chinese had recognized that something that was deficient in the diet of their children was protein. And once they started importing pork, protein in pork dramatically raised the IQ levels of little Chinese children. Now, China's kind of our enemy, so I don't know how well I feel about that. But just as a human being, I would hate to see a child grow up with the diminished capacity somewhat because they didn't get enough protein. And by the way, the Asians love pork. It's odd.
Pork is the number one protein in the world. There's more protein, more pork consumed in the world than there is any other protein source. Now, chicken's catching up. But I mean, what can you do with chicken?
Yeah.
Wrap it with bacon. So, that works.
Yeah. One of the things I was in a previous life, I was in Asia for a couple of years, and I noticed that, the Asians liked pork and red apples from Washington. The apple people out in Washington State or wherever they grow all those juicy red apples. Oh yeah, the people in Asia love you. So that and that's all a great thing. I do not understand, and Kevin, I got to tell you, I have never brought on an animal rights activist or a vegan on this program for fear I'd just lose my temper and start yelling at them. And that's, I have to get my discipline. I have to get some discipline in this matter and start talking with some of these folks. And the first question I'm going to ask them is, what drives you to do this? Pork products have all these benefits. In our state, we cannot get along without pork production. I mean, there's 10, 12 pigs there human being in this state, maybe more. What is it that drives you to do this? What moral concern do you have? That would be my first question.
So I've at a farmer's market in the metropolitan area, I've stopped at their booth and just listened. I couldn't open my mouth because if I made the first question or comment, I knew it was not going to end well. But just listen to their sales pitch. Listen to their rhetoric. It's just amazing, There's just lie after lie after lie.
Well, it wasn't more.
Yes, but it's what they believe. Yes, they believe in it very, very strongly. I was on an airplane doing a lot of traveling one year for Rural Electric Co-op. In the capacity that way, and I was always took my iPad with me, and whoever I was sitting beside, I'd show them pictures of pigs. Mm-hmm. And most of the people would like to hear about it and like to hear about pork production because I believe you should tell your story whenever you get a chance and as much as you possibly can.
Certainly.
So I was flying into St. Louis. We were coming from, I can't remember, but I was flying into St. Louis, and this gal sat down beside me, and I said, "Hey, would you like to, start this with her a little bit?" And somehow, I don't remember how I brought it up. She looked at all these pictures of these pigs for a while, and she goes, "Why are you showing me this?" And I said, "She goes, I'm a vegan." And I said, "Well, you still vote, don't you?" She said, "Yes." And I explained. I said, "You need to understand that we really care and have a passion for what we do, and we care about our livestock, and we're not out here trying to abuse them or anything. And you just need to understand that this is how they're actually raised, not how." She goes, "Let me see another picture." So she was being educated. She was totally okay with that because the reason she chose to go vegan was some health-related things, and she thought she was healthier. But it wasn't about the animals. It was about she was trying to do that for some health. Now, whether I believe her cause doesn't matter. That's not I'm not there to change their opinion. I'm there to educate them and show them that we really care about the animals that we raise and love the product that we. What's your favorite cut of pork?
My favorite cut?
Yeah.
Boneless. Boneless, what do they call them? Not the butterfly chops, but
Sirloin?
yeah.
You like that?
I have it for breakfast. I those, and I know
they're like
yeah, little suckers like that.
And you can pan fry them just like
Absolutely scramble a couple of eggs and pan fry a couple of those things. I'm good.
oh yeah.
But I have a lot of pork. I have a lot of pork products through the year. Frankly, not that I don't eat beef or grill a steak. I certainly do. But I guess pork is just something I grew up with, and
I love all protein.
Yeah.
I'm not here to say one protein is better than the other. We're here to talk about protein production in the state of Iowa, protein production in north central Iowa, and it's really good for the economy.
yes,
And to educate people that we really care about our animals, whether they're beef or they're chickens or they're pigs. We care about our animals, and our goal is to make a profit while we do this. And to do that, we have to take really, really good care of our animals to keep them healthy.
I don't care if anyone is vegan. I think they have a right as a citizen of the United States of America to be whatever they want. That's their business. I'm not going to work trying to force a pork chop down their throat. On the other hand, don't take the pork chop out of my mouth.
Exactly.
What's wrong with that?
And so yeah.
I mean, there have been people who describe, and again, getting back to the early days, I've butchered a couple of hogs, or been an assistant or whatever. I don't know if I could do it by myself anymore, but I know that process, and it's a natural thing to me. Some people would think, oh, butchering a hog, how can they be? Well, I'm making food. I'm getting food ready to go to the table, or in this case, the locker, of course. Or whatever, but I don't see what the problem is. I mean, the hog death is painless. I mean,
it's humanely, it's all humane.
It's all human.
Yeah. So I've got a good friend that is a veterinarian, and he advocates that every fifth grade student should give a fertilized egg, incubate it, raise the chicken up, butcher it, and show them how the whole process works, and cook the meat and make a meal.
I think that's a great idea. I don't know. I've heard some disturbing stories of what kids actually are being taught in schools, and it's nothing that I learned, and it's nothing that I would care to have anybody else would eat either. But anyway, Kevin Rasmussen is our guest, and he's the new president of the Iowa pork producers. Getting back to my friend again, who was with the Cattlemen's Association. What is it? Are the pork producers doing anything? And I appreciate you being on this radio program with me. I hope you can direct other pork producers to this radio station because, as you can tell, I'm a pork-friendly guy.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm a pork-friendly guy, and I spend my money on pork and all of those things.
So if you go to iowapork.org, on the We Carry page, you'll see a video that was created, I believe it was 3 years ago, of myself and my family on our farm telling our story about pork production. Last year in 2021, we did another vid. We spent a significant amount of money doing this, and we use them a lot for different ads and advertising and publicity stuff. But last year, we did another family from over here by Brothers. Did a video on them, and they're over by Carroll, I believe. I'm trying to think of their name. I can't think of their name right now. But there's some really good video out there that Iowa Pork has done, professionally done, and of us telling our story. And we share that a lot. I was also did an interview with Iowa High School Athletics Association that got aired during the football playoffs in the Unidome. And they've used that. So we get out, try to tell our story, put our face in front, make sure people hear the message, not just read it on a billboard or read it. Talking with guys like you, Mike, is so much better than a billboard. Is kind of the path we're going at Iowa Pork Producers Association.
I hope so. Again, even here in the state of Iowa, the animal producers need a little help. 4-H used to be a big thing in school, and there was the FFA, and a lot of boys in the school were members of the FFA. You could tell them by their jackets and crew cuts. I'm dating myself saying that, I know, but agriculture was incorporated into education in our school.
Kids don't have the opportunities because we don't have that many farms anymore. There's not that people live in rural settings, so they don't have the ability to have that pig. So Iowa Pork Producers had bacon buddies at the Iowa State Fairs to give some of these kids who've never shown a pig and a chance. They've never shown a pig in their life, get a chance to show a pig at the Iowa State Fair, and then they have a good time doing that. It's really important. I've taken live pigs to the kindergarten class in Humboldt before. I've never been to the Webster County schools, but I've taken the Humboldt County schools. Kids love that.
Yes!
See the pig. It's a chance to put a face with a product. I'm not sure a 5-year-old kid, young adult, understands that the fact of the pig is going to end up with its bacon. But I do think they understand that, hey, I remember you. You were the guy that brought the pig to school.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
it's all the way back in the 70s. I remember they had a little, an educational process, and I thought it was great. They'd bring little kids from big cities out east. I remember some folks from a big city in New Jersey came around here one time. And of course, these are city kids, and the teacher was from the city as well. And they'd never seen a farm before. Never in their life. It was an abstract concept. And they had no idea where food came from. So the farmer, I forget who it was a long time ago, he would say, this is what grain is used for. These are pigs. And I remember the school teacher, after all these, I remember this. The farmer handed her a little piglet, and the teacher put it down right. Oh, they're so ugly. But anyway, I thought that was a great educational device. So these young children went back to wherever they were from, Newark or whatever town, and they learned something. I think that's a great program.
Yeah. Anytime we do,
maybe we should try it here in Fort Dodge.
Well, and we do that. A lot of times it's with an iPad, though. So you take your iPad and you go in the barn because with biosecurity reasons we can't have visitors in our facilities anymore. But we can take our iPad in there and we can have a video chat with, and the kids don't have the transportation costs and all of that. And we can have a chat with the teacher and the kids from our barn directly into the classroom.
Let's work together on this, Kevin. Kevin Rasmussen has been our guest, and we want more information out about the benefits of pork in pork production in our economy and in our diets and in our lives. Kevin Rasmussen, again from the Goldfield area, is the new president of the Iowa Pork Producers. Thank you, Kevin. All right, this is AM 1400 KBFT.
How much for this? Hey, I just did. Ow! Really? Stop getting beat.
man. Second time I've done that this afternoon. This is Dan Lewandowski. Lewandowski. Excuse me? Dusky. You got too many O's and E's and
11 letters.
Dusky. But your last several letters of your name are DOWSKE.
That's from
Dusky?
That's from the old country.
That's from what old country are we talking about?
Poland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I asked my dad one time why we pronounce it the way it does, and he just kind of looked at me. So
that generation didn't really ask that many questions because that's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
You know, and maybe that was better. Yep. That was a better way. But Dan is certainly the Webster County Veterans Affairs chief here. I think you have it's you and you over in your office, isn't it?
Yeah, I have a very great and kind boss, and so he's a good guy.
We always want to suck up to our bosses. I mean, yeah, my boss, Jed Burns, he's a great guy, I'll tell you. That's okay. So it's been a while since I talked with you, Dan, and maybe we should get together more often. I keep telling myself that, but somehow it doesn't happen. I guess I got to pick up a phone every now and then, but I'm glad Keith Dinklaw did. So what's going on at the Veterans Affairs?
Well, you know, sometimes in the VA arena, there's not a lot going on, but behind the scenes, there's a lot going on.
Sure, yeah.
And so I just come in today to talk a little bit about what's going on and maybe expand from that. And the first thing I wanted to point out is that the VA clinic will be moving.
Oh,
yes.
I'm glad you said that.
Just behind the old, I don't know if it's old, but still there, the James College over there.
Oh, it's over there, out on 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So by Walgreens, back in that area.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So they're supposed to be up and running in that facility by March 12th. And that's all I know on that. But I want to let the veterans know out there that they'll be going to a new facility, and I'm hoping that it would be more expansion of hearing and optical within one facility. So
Okay. Would that be the Webster County facility or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
hearing and optical will be in this new.
Well, I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm
Okay.
hoping. It will be everything under one roof.
Okay.
Instead of having apartment out to different facilities.
Sure.
Which the VA is getting really good in what they call care in the community.
Mhm.
And that's been going very well. I've used it, and it's everything's going very smooth.
Mhm.
And what it does, it prevents a veteran from having to drive down to Des Moines.
That's a good thing.
It really is.
I mean, Des Moines isn't all that way, but it is far away. Especially if you're an older person or disabled.
Exactly. And manufacturing weather.
Oh, God. I'm just, I went to Ames the other day, not to do anything to do with the veterans clinics, but I went to Ames to Iowa Heart, and it was fine driving down there. On the way back, the wind had kicked up and was blowing, between I-35 and West City, you couldn't see the road. And that was middle of the morning. So, yeah, I know what we're talking about there, the weather.
Yeah. So that's coming along real good, and each day is getting better and better, for stuff like that, and new thoughts, new ideas people, implement, and
Sure.
all for the better for our vets. Also, there is going to be, well, first of all, there's a new individual working at the Iowa workforce. His position is called DVOP, which stands for Disability Veterans Outreach Program. And his title is advisor. He works with disabled veterans looking for employment.
Okay.
The Iowa workforce. So if you need a veteran that is looking for a job, I highly encourage you to go out there and see Jeremy Frisbee.
Jeremy
Frisbee. He's brand new to the area.
Frisbee's kind of a good name.
And I forget where he comes from, but he visited, and he's got some neat ideas. One of which he wants to have a monthly outreach at the VFW. And he sent me this flyer, and he's going to have his first one. It's called Coffee and Camaraderie. I can't say the word. But anyway,
Camaraderie.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, camaraderie.
So anyway, his first one is going to be April 9th at the VFW, and it's going to start, let me see what's the start time. 9 o'clock, 9 through 12.
Okay.
And all it is, you come out and socialize with veterans And that's what it's about. You talk to other veterans and possibilities that you may be aware of, maybe not aware of, and build friendships and all that good stuff. So he's implementing that, and again, April 9th is going to be the first one on that. And
April 9th, what time again, please?
9 o'clock.
So it's going to be in the morning.
It's a Saturday.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he wants to do that the second Saturday of every month, and we'll see where that leads to.
I think that's a great idea.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Does Webster County Veterans Affairs, they have a Facebook page or website?
They have a website. Yeah.
You have the website.
Yeah, I have not graduated Facebook yet.
You're not going to do it.
Maybe one day.
You think it's communism? No.
I think it's time consuming.
It is. It's a huge time waster. Huge time.
I'm being kind. My wife has it, but I don't.
Okay.
Maybe one day.
All right.
Maybe one day.
So it's WebsterCountyVeteransAffairs.org or .com.
It's a good.
That's a good
Go to the county website.
Go to the county website. We'll find out. Webster County.
Yeah.
Okay. We know about it.
Under departments, you'll find it.
Okay.
Okay. So what else is going on? Oh, with that, I like to encourage all veterans out there, young, middle age, or older, to join the local service organization, be it the VFW, the American Legion, or the DAV, Disabled American Veterans, and just get involved in the local clubs that we have, why we still have them.
Yeah.
And locally, they are what they are. Good. Again, good. Can't say the word.
Camaraderie.
Yeah. But nationally, at the national level, that's where they fight for your benefits.
Okay.
So very important. So we get involved in that, and it's minute time consumption, so it's not a whole lot of time, but you meet monthly.
Sure.
And it's something that veterans should do.
Of course.
Okay, and with that, I'd like to say that there's some maybe kind of old news in one way. It came out last year that the VA system, the department, I should say, have added 3 more presumption conditions to Vietnam veterans for Agent Orange exposure, bladder cancer, hypothyroidism disease, and Parkinsonism disease. So now Parkinsonism. Yeah, I found that out too. That's the same thing. No, it's not, I guess. But anyway, so that brings the total of Agent Orange exposure conditions to 17 on the list. So if you have one of 17, and you were in country or within 12 nautilus miles off the coast of Vietnam, it's a slam dunk.
Okay, that's for the Navy guys, sure.
Yeah. And also for the burn vets, they've added 3 conditions as well for the Afghanistan and the other countries around there. And those 3 are asthma, sinusitis, and rhinitis, if I say that right. And you can claim that up to 10 years after leaving the military.
Okay.
Come down with some of that stuff. And I have a couple of veterans that have, unfortunately, have had those issues and have been compensated for it already. Okay. Okay, what else do I have here? I like to just kind of make a reminder of a couple state benefits that veterans have. One is the hunting and fishing license.
Okay.
A lifetime hunt and fishing license for $7.
Every time you come in here and start talking, you gotta get on. Then I should have you in here every day just to remind me.
Now, the only caveat in there, you have to be at least 10% service-connected disability.
Right.
$7, you can't go wrong. Even if you go hunting or fishing once in a lifetime, there you go. And then also we have what they call the Iowa Trust Fund, and that's a fund that was started, 2007 or 8, something of that nature. And it's money set aside for veterans to use on certain line items. There's 10 of them, but the most one I see is for veterans that need dental assistance. And they have now opened it up to the spouses and dependent children as well for that one. And they also have a line item through the trust fund for housing repair, car repair, And those are the big ones right there. And you can call my office or come see me anytime for more in depth on what's the requirements are. You know,
Found your website, by the
there
way.
you go. All
Just
right.
typed in Webster County Veterans Affairs and up.
Pop it right up.
Yeah, it did.
And also, I got veterans out there that need assistance for county help for like rent or utilities, water.
Mhm.
And of course, all these go on a income driven. For county, it's for a couple, it's like $1,400. So if your income's above that. Of course, we look at all applications, you know, because each situation is unique, and we're there to help the veterans as most and possibly that we can. And then the trust fund is they go up to 300% poverty level for that.
300%.
Yeah.
How much would that be?
Well, I actually.
I don't know what the poverty level.
Well, there's a story behind that, and I won't tell on the air.
All right.
But anyway, I just looked today for a couple came in my office, and for two people, it's $52,000.
Oh,
So it's quite high.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's they have the money out there. They want to use it, and so that's what they're doing. And for some of this, you might be asking, well, if I get to help do the trust fund for say dental, whatever, how much will they pay?
Yeah.
Up to $10,000 per person for the veteran and the veteran spouse.
So how do you apply for these things?
Come see me.
Come see you.
Come see me.
I want to roll it back just for
Yeah.
the eyeglasses and hearing aids. The
Yeah.
whole thing. Do we go through you first, or what do we do?
No, that's all through your health arena.
VA, I go out to the VA clinic.
Yeah.
for example, in
Yeah.
town.
Yeah. You just tell them what you want, and they'll either farm you out. Like I said, I'm hoping that
Farm us out. Well, that's okay. As long as they don't send me even more.
Yeah. Like I said, I hope it gets everything under one stop shop. You know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know for sure, but I know they had some turnover there as well. I know one of the physicians assistant has left, and she was
Debbie Ladd, I saw her for years and years.
outstanding.
And she was great.
Yeah.
I just saw Dr. Clark for the first time
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
He's a real good guy, young man.
Yeah.
A big guy.
Kind of small guy, ain't he?
No, he isn't. I told him, I said, you're one of the few doctors I've ever met who's taller than I am.
Yeah.
He must be 6'6" or
Oh, at least.
yeah, maybe more than that.
But-
A very good guy as well.
Yeah, very kind and
Yeah, a decent man.
yeah. So I'm happy about that as well. So that is kind of what I have. A lot going on. If you want any information on anything VA, come see my office. I'm located at 723 First Avenue South. That was the old Northwest Bank building.
That's where you still are now.
I still am. We're working on a name for it now, you know. And so they haven't finalized that. You know, what is it going to, you know?
What your new building is going to be called?
Yeah.
Your new office?
I
Webster County Veterans Affairs works.
Well, the health department's up there too.
Oh, they are.
My suggestion was name it the former Northwest Bank, the former U.S. Bank. Some people go, oh, it's the old Holtman Bank.
Well, the former site of Fantles.
But anyway, I'm there.
No, it wasn't.
That's before my time.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. Fantles, I think, on Central.
Well, I'm on the second floor of that building, and my phone number is 573-1479.
There you go.
I always encourage people to call before they come up because sometimes I'm not there.
Right. By the way, if you do that, you go see Dan, have him give you one of those sticky calendars. He's got sticky calendars like we used to put on the dashboard cars. And Dan gave me two of them. Boy, I used the hell out of them. I got one here on the control panel. And I have one at home in the utility room. So, excuse me.
But you're gonna have to wait to next year because I'm all out for this.
You're all out for 20. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad I got in there.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got in there. Well, that's okay then. Well, that sounds like a lot of great information. And, yeah, there is such a thing as the Webster County Veterans Affairs website. So check that out. And I guess as far as I imagine it's the veterans organizations like the VFW Legion that take care of Memorial Day.
They do. Yeah. That's another thing too. got Memorial Day and Veterans Day, people spend a lot of time putting on these activities.
Yeah.
It would behoove you to show up for them.
Yeah.
And and thank the ones that put it on, because there's a lot of logistics behind it.
Yeah.
So I know we had like Veterans Day, we had one at the high school had the program, which is very, very nice. And then the St. Ed's the following day, and then Iowa Central had a nice little program.
Sure.
And these are kids that want to, well, the first class are kids that want to recognize veterans. So I encourage all veterans always take the time to show up for these activities.
Mhm.
And then for Memorial Day at Kennedy Park, it's always out there at the Veterans Park out there.
Oh, nice ceremony.
Yeah, unless it rains, it's the St. Ed's. But again, take the time. That's why we have it.
Yeah, it's inspiring. If you're not inspired by that, you should ask yourself why you're not.
Right.
These veterans organizations are usually honoring those veterans who never really came home,
Right.
never couldn't come home, or those that are seriously wounded in back among us. It's a tremendous sacrifice and struggle for veterans and their families.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't appreciate that anymore.
Right.
I shouldn't say that. A lot of people, I don't know, are disconnected from it.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you think of a holiday like a Memorial Day, and then people think, oh, 3-day weekend, I'm out of here. Well,
That's okay.
there's nothing wrong with that. However, what's the 3-day weekend for?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
We should always consider that.
Yeah.
Always consider that. Dan Lewandowski. I got it. Dan has been our guest, Dan Lewandowski. His name just doesn't, if you spell it phonetically, it's not. Lewandowski is where we want to go. So, Dan, always great to see you. Always appreciate your time. And if I don't get a hold of you soon, get a hold of me. So I can you a lot of veterans in the area, and they probably don't know about a lot of these things. I don't know a lot about these, to be honest with you, but thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, this is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. This program being brought to you by Blue Ribbon Pellet Waters at 612 South 32nd Street in Fort Dodge. You may contact Blue Ribbon Pellet Waters by calling 576-6481 or online at www.ftwater.com.
With breaking news and stimulating talk.
It's 4:29 and the news is coming up.
Ever have questions about your prescriptions,
I
even in the
my
middle
nose
of the
still-
night? Well,